Welcome back to Shed Sesh, spiciest podcast in the world. We're going to be starting off with our drink of the week today.
Well, before that, let me just give a quick shout out to my fiance Maria. Today's our anniversary.
All right.
By the time that this comes out, it'll probably be past, but
It'll
4
be
years.
next year's anniversary
Yeah.
by that time. All right. Happy anniversary to Bert and Maria. So we got the Jack Daniel's Black Jack Cola, which is just infused Coca-Cola and Jack Daniel's, basically. 4.8%, 10 fluid ounces. We're going to test this out.
Not enough cola for my taste, but it's pretty good.
Very whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very whiskey. Jack Daniel's Country Cocktails. You know, I drank these before, and I feel like I was like, oh, this is like the perfect Jack and Coke mixture. Maybe I just had a good batch. This one is not.
I don't know. This feels kind of watered down.
Yeah?
The Coke isn't strong enough, and the Jack doesn't have like that aftertaste.
Like the alcohol burn?
Yeah.
Do you like the alcohol burn?
I want to say it's the burn. It's like, I don't know, like what makes Jack like that noticeable taste.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Do you, you like to drink like whiskey or like whiskey and Coke?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you go out to restaurants. Do you hate that it has ice in it?
Depends. Some places do like that little ice.
And the good ice?
Yeah, and then they like fill it up to the top with that. I don't appreciate that.
No?
No.
I just don't like ice because like it takes so long for me to drink it because I like to enjoy it. And every time I take a sip, like by the time I'm taking another sip, it's back up to where it used to be because the ice is melting. Yeah. But then it just tastes watered down. I don't like that. Anyways, potential president Andrew Yang drops out of the race. What do you think about that?
Yanging for life.
Yeah.
Hopefully he comes back. I don't know. What are your thoughts on him dropping out?
I mean, I didn't want him to drop out. I had good hope in him for his like campaign as far as what he was offering. I don't know. He was running as Democratic, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, he was just like, he doesn't seem like a Democrat to me. I think he was just running Democratic, like, I don't know.
To get the votes?
To get the votes. Yeah, I want to say to get the votes or, like, get the people. And, like, the only way I could see that he, like, falls into the Democratic category is, like, by trying to appeal to, like, the younger generation. Because I feel like, I don't know. Man, I crack up at that meme that has Bernie Sanders and it says like, I once again come to you for financial support. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, those are all pretty good.
Dude, every time I see that one, I'm like, oh my God. And it's always like a different one. Like I saw one that said like, when I just fix something on my car and I turn it on for the first time. Dude, I was dying when I seen those. But yeah, I mean, I fell in line with the stuff that Yang was offering. And I mean, I'm not like crazy on politics and like following what's going on in politics, but I want to say that some of the things that he had going on were like far ahead of his time. I think his main thing that he was offering was UBI, which is the universal based income. And what that is basically X amount of dollars that everybody would get for living in this country. And what he was offering was $1,000, right? How do you think that would play out?
Honestly, I feel like people would find a problem with that just because, I don't know, some people might think like they're better off so they don't deserve all that. So
you think that, do you think it'd become one of those programs that it's just taken advantage of?
Yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Like right away?
Yep.
I want to say that I also think that it would become one of those programs, but if it's like how do you take advantage of a program that is like available for everybody in the country, regardless of your social status, your tax bracket, your income, race, ethnicity, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I understand, like, I think the big one being, like, food stamps, right? People, like, go on rants about food stamps. You get food stamps and whatever. Like, you know, there's people that are buying stuff that's obviously not related to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, food for kids or whatever. And then Social Security being, like, people that are clearly able-bodied and able to work that are somehow claiming Social Security. And then people that actually need Social Security are, you know, working their ass off because they're not approved for Social Security.
Yeah.
But in a program like the Freedom Dividend, where you're getting $1,000, like, you're gonna get it whether you could be a millionaire. You can get it whether you make 20 G's a year. You can get it whether you are able-bodied or not able-bodied. You can get it whether you got a job or not a job. You can get it, you know, whether you drive, whether you don't drive, regardless of your political parties or any beliefs that you have. He's offering you $1,000 every month, like, with no catch. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So how is somebody able to take advantage of that? Because it's not like someone can be like, oh, well, I applied and I got $2,000. Like, everyone gets $1,000, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take it and that's it.
Well, personally, I never really looked too much into it. I just saw, like, I guess the main points. But I feel like it's more of taking advantage of it because you don't need it as much as someone else does.
Okay.
Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
so if you don't need it, then it's your choice to, like, not apply for it.
yeah.
Right? If you feel that need. Like, if you're a millionaire and you're like, I don't need these $1,000, then, you know, I won't use it. It'll go to somebody else that needs it, potentially. But I'm assuming the way that he has formulated the concept of the Freedom Dividend is by taking into assumption that every single person in the United States is getting $1,000 a month, taking that number, multiplying it by 12, and getting an amount of, you know, dollars that he's going to need per year, and then inflate that amount based off of the population growth, and then find a way to obtain that money. And his way was to tax the businesses that are in the process of, like, automating certain jobs that would potentially remove jobs from our country. Elon Musk.
Yeah, I was about to say, how did he plan on getting all that money?
Yeah. So it'd be like we're truck drivers, right? Like, we work for a company. Per se, that company was like, secretly working on trying to create or obtain autonomous trucks that would drive themselves, which would be impossible in our situation unless they got physical robots. But they would
get a cannon, shoot it to your front door.
But they would get autonomous trucks, and once they get those trucks, and it's like, okay, well, we don't need so many drivers anymore. Let's get rid of half of them. And because they're getting rid of half of the drivers, they're taking jobs away from our country. So we would tax them a certain percentage of their income every year, just for, like, dabbling into artificial intelligence, basically, or, like, basically AI. But there's, like, so many other jobs that kind of have done this, right, and or are dabbling into it, where you, like, the employees are clueless, right? They don't know that, you know, that all of a sudden these robots are here, or all of a sudden this is happening or that's happening, and so it's, like, too late once they figure it out, right? Once the company comes by and they're like, oh, hey, you know, we don't need so many people anymore, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know. I feel like if that does happen, like us being truck drivers, if one company did decide to do that, the demand for truck drivers is so high that we could easily go somewhere else, because not every company would be able to afford the automated trucks.
Right.
So, or like, let's say nurses. Let's say nurses were starting to get, I guess, replaced by robots or something.
Right.
I feel like it doesn't matter how, if you get a robot to do a nurse's job, there's always going to be more demand for nurses, because everyone gets sick, everyone gets injured.
Right.
So even if you don't work at one hospital, you could always go work at another one, or a clinic, or a school, or something like that.
But do you not think that because it's just the beginning of a brand new technology, that it's gonna start off slow, but what about like once we get into the fact where we're like, oh, we can produce these like robots that do exactly what a human does, like 1,000 of them per hour for $250, and sell them to the hospital for $10,000 a piece, and they completely replace a body, and they just gotta be serviced every once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Like, so right now it's like, okay, well, like how long does it take to make a robot? How much money does it take to make a robot? And yeah, it seems impossible, but if you think about it in the longevity of it, I think that we will get to the point where it's like there's just factories popping out robots left and right, you know, that are capable of doing exactly what humans are. But I think that from what I've read, the only thing that they can't figure out how to put into a robot is what we would call like a soul, basically, like the moral capacity in your brain and emotion and stuff like that is like something that artificial intelligence so far has not been able to like learn and capture. But if you take it all the way back to even like the Industrial Revolution, right, when they're building all these machines and they're building like cars and all this stuff. I don't know if the Industrial Revolution was when they built cars. It could have been.
I think it might have been. Yeah.
But you see people that are like riding horses, right? And it's like, oh well, they're building a car. Like, you know, so who cares? Like, that's one company, that's one person that's trying to build a car, right? And you compare that to now, and it's like, okay, well, it's one company that's building an autonomous truck. It's one person that's trying to do this, trying to do that. And the same thing back then, you know? And then it's like, okay, well, yeah, and then one car is built, and then that one car is able to take business from X amount of people, right? But he only has one car, so he can only do what one car could do, or one truck, whatever. But then what about when he has two? And then what about when he has three? And then what about when they get the hang of it? And then what about when these companies start popping out cars left and right and left and right, and they just break down, and then they build another one, you know? And then all of a sudden, horses are just pets now. Like, they're no longer used for actual work like they used to be. And I kind of feel like deep down inside of me, like I do believe that we'd get to that point. I don't think that it'd be in our lifetime, though, which I think is why people are not so concerned with it. But if you think about it, it's like, well, it could be in your kid's lifetime. It could be in their kid's lifetime, which would be your grandkids. And like, you can't sit there and be like, oh, like, I don't care because it's not my life. But, like, that's still your grandkids, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man.
But I feel like once those advancements do come, there's going to be, like, a shift in the kinds of jobs people have. Like, they're going to be more computer or technology-based.
Well, that's actually something that was brought into... I don't know where it falls into place, but like with Andrew Yang's campaign, after like all the interviews and stuff that he had been doing, there was a thing about coal miners and how they wanted to automate the coal mining industry. And so like they came to them and they were like, you know, hey, we want to automate this and this and this, but we'd like to offer to train you to become a computer engineer, so you can still have a position within our company, still work for us, still, you know, do exactly what you're doing, just you're not going to be doing it physically anymore. You're going to be doing it through a computer screen. Yeah. And like, not to be offensive, but like a lot of people that, like, if you're going to work in a coal mine, like you're not going there because you want to be a coal miner, you know? You're going there because it's just one of the easier jobs that'll get you a lot of money, and it's easy to obtain because all they need is somebody to be able to physically do the job, right?
Yeah.
So there was this whole like thing on Twitter that like everybody said like, well, originally they had told them like, oh, we'll teach you to code. And then like people were just like mimicking it because like a lot of the coal miners didn't want to learn how to code. And so I guess you would get like banned off of Twitter if you tweeted learn how to code. Like you weren't allowed to use that in that sentence.
It's a new hate speech.
Yeah, like technically they considered it hate speech, which is like a whole different category.
Get with the times, old man.
Yeah, basically, dude. Like they were like, oh, like you can't say learn how to code. And it's like, dude, like I don't know. Fuck off, dude. Like, if I want to say learn how to code, like, I'm going to say learn how to code. If you get offended by it, then...
Work harder.
Yeah, like, you're offended by it, you know? Like, that's not my fault. If somebody told me, like, hey, learn how to code, I'd be like, damn, like, fuck, maybe I should. Well, you know, I might not have a job, so maybe I should start learning how to code.
So like your route?
Yeah.
Why don't you learn how to code, old man?
And, like, I get the whole thing about, like, a lot of the people are older and, like, technology has just like fallen behind from them. And I see that sometimes in myself because like sometimes I talk with my sister who's 18 or 19 or I don't know how old she is, but I always get shit for not knowing how old she is, but she'll like come up to me and be like, oh, like you don't know about this or you know about that, like, you know, like certain app. And like recently it was like fucking TikTok, which like I don't care about TikTok, but like she's like, oh yeah, you don't know about TikTok or like this and that. And I'm like, you're right. Like, I don't know about it, but like, if I chose to want to learn about it, I can guarantee you I could figure out enough research to actually learn about it, you know, and figure out how to do all that stuff. So I definitely think adaptability is like a key trait in like moving society forward, right? Would you say that you'd agree with that?
Yeah, I guess you just gotta go with the times, honestly.
Yeah.
Go where the demand is.
Right. So yeah, I think that there was just like a big thing going on about that. But as far as the freedom dividend goes and Andrew Yang, I was definitely full on board with his campaign. I mean, he had my vote sold, and man, I was really close to buying a math hat. The one with like the little pot plant on the back, because he had said that, well, like he's like pro weed, right? And then he was like, yeah, he's like, if I get elected as president, which would be in November of 2020, so he said like on April 20th 2021, he's like, I'm gonna release everybody that's incarcerated for like obtaining pot or like having weed on you or whatever, right? Like all those little misdemeanors. He's like, and I'm gonna high five all of them on the way out. And then we're all going to go and smoke or whatever, like, you know? And I was like, that's pretty cool, like, that. It was just funny, like, the way it played out. It's, like, so, like, millennial of him to, like, do that, even though he's old. But, like, on 420, I'm going to release everybody that's incarcerated. Like, I think that's pretty cool. But, yeah, man, I would have bought a math hat. They're just kind of expensive. It's, like, $42. But... yeah, I think the freedom dividend is like something that we could definitely adapt to, and it's only because it's like, well, the economy is expensive, dude. You know, like it's hard to get a house right now.
Well, in California it is.
Yeah, fuck, dude. If I was in St. Louis right now, in a $13,000 home. But yeah, so it's like kind of expensive to live where we're at in California, and. I mean, I wouldn't mind an extra $1,000 a month, you know?
Yeah.
Like we both work hard for the money. Like, I mean, it'll be just like as if we got a raise, except that you're getting paid to like work, you know, where you're getting paid extra money for potentially like losing your job if this like autonomous revolution takes over. And like, you know, decades from now, like our kids might be reading about that shit in their history book. Like, oh yeah, like back in the day, like everybody actually had to like pick up these things and like work for it. And like everyone was like super, like there was people that had muscles that were so big. And like there's just a bunch of scrawny little kids because like nobody like works anymore. And like,
pick anything up.
Yeah, like all the robots just do everything from, you know, like. I know it's hard to like try to imagine like a world like that, but I feel like we're headed that way. Like I don't think we're staying in this like world that we're in right now.
So you're saying we won't have to work this hard?
I think we're gonna have to work as hard as we possibly can until we die. But I think our kids or grandkids or maybe their kids, they're gonna have like a robot butler or something that they bought on Amazon for like $30. Like a little knockoff one. And then Apple's gonna be releasing that shit, and then
just get an Amazon Basics one.
Yeah. And then Apple releases a new robot like every year, and like
every 6 months.
The robot 12. And then they get in trouble and they get fined for slowing the robots down, so you could buy the robot 13. Did you hear about Apple getting sued or whatever, or fined for slowing down the old iPhones?
Like a year or two ago.
What do you think about that?
I think it was a brilliant strategy until they got caught.
It's yeah, man. I can't blame them. Like, it's a good marketing strategy. You know, Volkswagen was in the same boat with them with that thing that they were doing. And Soraya drives a Volkswagen, and it was funny when we were talking about it, and she was like, "Oh, I don't care." Like, you know, like what was it that they had? Oh, that they would pass smog. You know.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, it passes smog, like regardless, right?" And I was just like, "It doesn't mean that it like." Actually is passing smog. They're like hacking the computers to pass smog. Like, your car could still actually be damaged. It's just past. It was like black smoke coming out the exhaust, and it's still gonna pass smog. Like, but yeah, man, I think it's on business, I guess, right? Corporation that big,
cutthroat out there.
Can't get away with everything, but hey, they did it for a long time, and I mean, it worked. And whether, like, if we're being honest, like, whether they slow all the iPhones down or they don't, a bunch of people are still going to buy them.
Yep, regardless.
Like, they don't care.
They probably bought it before they even slowed it down.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And, like, I was rocking the iPhone 7 Plus, dude. Like, last year. And I upgraded. Well, I didn't even get an iPhone. I got the 1 Plus.
Did they finally slowed it?
Yeah. No, they didn't even slow it down. The charger broke. I think it was slow to begin with, if I'm being honest. And I never thought that, like, my iPhone was, like, shitty. And then my dad bought my sister, like, the 10 or something. And I was like, damn, my iPhone sucks. Like, this one is so crystal clear. Like, the camera looks tight. Like, everything looks so good. And I was like, I don't got the stupid little lighting effects on my camera. Like, I can't even selfie on this. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to get an Android. And I got an Android, and I was pretty happy with it until more recently. Because I want more, like, I just like how streamlined Apple is. Like, it's so, just like they got so many cool apps and stuff. And, like, even if the apps are lame, they make them look cool in the App Store. But whatever, man. But, yeah, Andrew Yang. R.I.P. R.I.P. to Yang.
It's good while it lasted.
Yeah, it was nice. But if you guys don't know about Yang, I was just looking it up. Look up what he was into, you know. Follow his campaign. Got no one else to vote for anymore. What do you think about Amazon?
What do I think about Amazon?
Yeah, so there's like news going. Well, I mean,
I feel like there's been news going on for a while
this
now.
is not new news. This is old news that just keeps getting recycled. Yeah, I was
about to say, which news in particular are you talking about?
So what I saw, I was just, scrolling through Reddit on Friday, chilling out at work, and I see a post by somebody in the unpopular opinion that said, Jeff Bezos, and don't quote me on it, but this is like roughly what it said. It said Jeff Bezos earned every single penny that he currently owns. And if any of you guys were as rich as he would, you'd possibly be just as selfish or even more. And that falls into the category of Amazon not paying taxes they dodged the taxes technically, right? And apparently the Amazon employees are shackled up to their stations and not allowed to use the restroom. They're forced to use the restroom on their clothes that they're provided. They give them a cool little orange jumpsuit, and they
just put a gun to your head and you better not stop working.
What do you think? What do you think about the environment at Amazon?
It's a level 4 position.
Shout out to Greg. Greg the L4.
Shout out to Greg and everyone that got their offer letters.
Yeah. So yeah, the news, obviously Amazon is not shackling anybody up. But, dude, I chimed in onto that little thread they had going on Reddit. And, yeah, man, I got pretty deep into there. Got into a couple arguments. And there was some people that told me that I was raised in a slave camp because I don't apparently agree that the conditions of work in Amazon are at all what they say they are. After working at 3 different buildings, having different promotions and all this stuff, right? And for anybody that's listening, me and Bert used to work at Amazon. How long did you work there for?
Since I was a white badge, I want to say about 4.5 years.
4.5 years, yeah. And I was there for 4 years. A little bit over, but I just say 4 to round it down. And I didn't start as a white badge. A white badge is basically just you were hired through a temp agency, and then you had the option to get hired by the Amazon company, and then you get to reap all the benefits that they offer.
Which changed, like, as of 2 years ago.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, the agency thing?
With the agency and kind of the benefits that they offer.
Oh, okay. So we wanted to just kind of chime into the conspiracy theory that is Amazon. Having some actual experience working there, 4 years under our belt, we wanted to just talk about the working conditions at Amazon.
Good and the bad.
The good and the bad. So we're going to start off with, do you want to do good first or bad first?
I don't know. Let's start off with good.
With good?
Yeah.
All right. What do you got for good? What did you do in the beginning when you first got hired?
When I first got hired, I was a picker.
A picker. It's probably one of the worst jobs they have, right?
Yeah. Well, depends what building we're at. The one that I was at, it's nothing that I didn't expect. Like, from your day one orientation, they said, hey, you're going to be walking over 10 miles.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right.
How many miles do you walk now?
Not as much, but still.
A lot more. A lot heavier workload.
Yeah.
Okay.
But see, that's another thing about Amazon. It wasn't, like, heavy work. Like, everything at that facility was relatively light.
Right.
Everything probably topped off at like 35 pounds.
Yeah, well, they have like a whole separate department for people that handle bigger packages and stuff. Yeah. So when I started Amazon, I started off what they called prepping, and it's basically just prepping the items to be shipped out. So if you had glass, you have to put in a bubble wrap and put like if there was liquids, you had to bag the liquids to, potentially if they leaked in the box, it wouldn't ruin anything else. Very easy job. We had a quota that we had to meet, and the quota was based off of every time you scan a barcode on an item. We had to scan 120 items per hour, and we got, breaks just like everybody else, 15-minute breaks, right? We got a 30-minute lunch just like everybody else. We worked 4 days a week, 10 hours a day. And did you guys have 410s or 5/8s?
We had 410s.
410s?
But at my other building, we were 5/8s.
5/8s?
But then we switched.
Okay. Yeah, so I think when they open the new buildings, it's 5/8s, right?
5/8s for a year.
For us, like when we were on our rate or whatever, then we had to, when we were currently working at our station, then we had to be scanning items consistently, 120 items per hour, like I said. And then if we stopped scanning an item, then it would start accumulating this time. And when it reaches 15 minutes of time that you haven't scanned, then it would start accumulating what they call time off task. So the 15 minutes is like because they give you 15 minutes to go to the restroom if you need to use it. So you would go, last item you scanned was 15 minutes ago, and then you come back from the restroom on your 17th minute, then you acquire 2 minutes of time off task. Pretty simple, right? And then I think if you get like 100 and something minutes of time off task, then they'd talk to you, and then if you continuously are doing it, then blah blah blah. If you actually have like a problem, like a bladder issue or something, you bring a doctor's note in, and everything's accommodated, no issues.
Yeah.
And then so after doing that for a long time, then I got promoted to a supervisor position, a seasonal supervisor position, which then I obtained a permanent supervisor position. And it was just like everything else, like we had meetings, we had to run the logistics, we had to make sure that everything was running smoothly, and then basically just reward and take consequences on the associates, depending on their work ethic. And then after that, I obtained like a management position, and I did that for a little while before I went into the transportation section, where they offered me my trucker's license, and then the rest is history. But that was over 4 years. So basically, like, what I learned from Amazon was that they offer so many like different benefits and like positive things to them that they baby all the employees to the point where they're like needing more, but not because they need it, because they just want to like push the limits. And like they give you a lot of time off. You know, they give you paid time off, they give you unpaid time off,
like,
and vacation.
The way that you can use your hours, like they just say, here's 40 hours unpaid time, 40 hours sick, 40 hours paid time off. The way that you can use it, it's just like, the only one that really needed notice was vacation. That was like 24 hours in advance. Hours. But then unpaid time, you know, just call or text your manager like an hour before or something. Say, hey, I'm not coming in.
Yeah.
And then
no questions asked. Yep. Nothing. They couldn't even ask you why you weren't coming in. Yep. It was just, and this is obviously for like a entry level role. If you're in management, supervisor, like anything like that, then it's different. Yeah, like because you're responsible now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like if you have 40 hours of paid time off, and you know you clock out at 4 and it's 3 o'clock, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna leave today. You clock out. They take one of your hours from your paid time off. Mm-hmm. No one asks you anything. No one questions it. Nothing. Until your hours are gone. And then once your hours are gone, then they start taking your unpaid time. Mm. And then once those hours are gone, then you go negative, and then you could potentially be fired. But mind you, they give you hours. I think it was 3.5 hours every pay period.
Yeah.
For paid time.
Paid time off was just until, I think, about May. And then they stopped giving you unpaid
for the
time.
first 6 months. Yeah. And then unpaid time, it was like they just give you like 20 every
quarter.
Every quarter or something like that. Yeah. So 20 hours every 3 months. Why do you need to leave 2 times every 3 months? Right? And that's just unpaid time. You got a whole nother, what do you get? Like 100 and something hours of paid time off?
Yeah, total. Yeah.
Right? Like if you do it for the whole year?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like why do you need to leave that much in 3 months? And to top it off, like let's say that you ran out of all your hours, you call the HR and tell them like, hey, I'm on a personal leave, and they always accept it. Mm-hmm. And it's a minimum of 1 week all the way up to 6 weeks. They don't question it, and that's it. You're guaranteed a job when you come back.
Yep.
How is that? This is like nowhere near slave camp. We're talking about
Omar,
like,
people are peeing in bottles because they can't stop working.
Is that a thing? Are people saying that?
I feel like they just recycle the same story because I never saw any pee bottles.
I've seen plenty of pee bottles at Amazon, and it was all because the truck drivers keep throwing them out the window.
All right, well, that's a different story. Not the actual workers inside.
I used to kick them at Mike. Okay, definitely the workers are not peeing in bottles. And I feel like if you are peeing at a bottle in your job,
you're taking it way too serious.
Yeah. Quit and go work somewhere else.
They're not going to fire you for going to the bathroom. Like, if it takes a little bit longer, you know, let your supervisor know, like, hey, my stomach's upset or this or that.
Yeah. It's really, like, not a big deal.
They don't just fire you on the spot as soon as you come back.
Yeah. And they talk to you, like, coming from, like, when I was a supervisor, like, there was so many times that I had told, like, my manager, like, hey, this dude is, like, so fucking lazy. Like, he's not going to do this work. He's not going to, like, he's not benefiting the company. Like, what can we do to get him out of here? Mm-hmm. And I, like, verbatim had conversations with my managers about firing certain people. And my manager would be like, no, like, just keep disciplining him. Like, keep writing him up. Keep, like, this and that. And I'm like, this dude's, like, on a 6th write-up. Like, he doesn't care. Like, and he's not wanting to work. People that get the freedom to, like, work what they call like a water spider, which is like the physical labor where you just like run the pallets around, like just deliver pallets, and you're not on a rate, so you're not held accountable for anything. Majority of the dudes that are doing that job are not doing the job. They're like off at like some girl station, like talking with them like all day, talking about what they're gonna do after work and blah blah blah, and half of them are married. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I don't know who's getting these situations about Amazon this and Amazon that, but it's been debunked here, guys. We broke the myth.
Hands down, easiest jobs I've ever had.
Easiest job.
Easiest, hands down, no questions asked.
Yes.
Easiest.
And the potential for growth in a company like Amazon, any other company is going to ask you for a bachelor's degree at minimum, or minimum associate's degree, but preferred bachelor's degree. Every position that requires no skill, like no technical skill, like engineering or like anything that's like coding or like, you know, directors, because they do like Amazon Prime movies or whatever. Any position that's not requiring an actual skill. So something that's like management or like logistic wise, anything that where they can teach you how to do that job. Under the requirements for the job, it always says preferred bachelor's degree or 2 years of Amazon experience.
Yep.
Every time. On every position where you're able to apply. And so all you have to do is work there for 2 years, and guess what? You're eligible to apply for any position you can. And their interview process is like so like intricate and like so complex that it's very hard to grow in Amazon. But once you get there, like you have a career.
Yeah.
You didn't go to college, like go work there.
Go as high as you can.
Yeah, just climb the corporate ladder. It's really not that hard, and it's not that bad. I remember seeing when you used to work there, like I don't know if we were, it might have been Mike, not Ginger Mike, but the tall Mike. That we used to watch like a video about like this lady. She was making a YouTube series about like how Amazon wasn't like accommodating her. Did you watch that or no?
No, I never heard of it.
Yeah, and it was like making like big news, dude. Like, and she was like, oh, like I went to Amazon today and like they didn't blah 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 because I had to go get my prescription or like this and this and this. And I was like, I can guarantee you like 100% that like all you need is a doctor's note and you're excused from anything ever, like from that company. Like Amazon is so scared of employees suing that they're just gonna like bend over backwards to accommodate you in any way that they need
or
to.
Or unionizing too.
Yeah, or unionizing. Yeah, like they want to remain like, you know, like a public like company with just Jeff Bezos in charge, and like they're so scared of all of that stuff. So like all the employees, like at my building where I worked for the longest, like a lot of the employees knew how scared Amazon was of everything, and they'd completely take advantage of it. Like they wouldn't work, they wouldn't do shit because they're like, oh, what are you gonna do? Like fire me so they can get unemployment? And it's like, no, like of course we're not gonna fire you. Like we're just gonna keep talking to you about it, and then you know that that's all we're gonna do. So like you're just gonna keep doing whatever you want to do, and it's like, okay, well, this is where the company's at, but hey, Jeff Bezos is still making a shit ton of money. Yep. So props to Bezos, I guess. And on top of that, like I just wanted to say that if you build a company from the ground up, regardless of what it is or what you do or how long it took you to start it could be a day, it could be plenty of years. But if you build a company from the ground up single-handedly, you definitely deserve every fucking dollar that you made. And you have no, like, you should never be held accountable to, like, donating or stopping any kind of, like, disasters that are going on. Like, yeah, it'd be nice for you to do it, but, like, you shouldn't be held accountable by the public. Because let me tell you that Amazon doesn't or hasn't paid taxes, but it's definitely because of how much, like, they're donating to, like, all these different loopholes. Causes. Yeah,
I mean, if we could find loopholes to get our gross income, we would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. And people do. You ain't going to tell me that you have 10 fucking dependents at your house. You know? You ain't driving a sports car with 10 dependents. Like, people do it all the time. Like, no one's bitching at you because no one cares about your $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. Like, everyone just bitches at Bezos because it's like, oh, he's a billionaire. Yeah. Richest man in the world. No one
deserves that much money.
Yeah. This dude's also trying to send everybody to the moon. He's also, like, you know, trying to send people or... No, I think Musk is going to Mars, right? But, like, Amazon's doing...
I think they're both trying.
Or whatever.
Well, they're both trying to go to space.
Yeah. But, like, they're doing things that are, like... Oh, was that a gunshot?
I think it might have been.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
We just got shot. Bezos found us. Yeah, I mean, like, Bezos is doing things that, like, a lot of people would, like, never be capable of doing, you know? Just because they're the type of people that would rather go work for someone like Bezos instead of becoming him. And that's not your fault. Like, if you want to do that, that's completely fine, you know? But don't go off and, like, blame somebody like Bezos for doing something that you weren't capable of doing. Like, he did it, and he did it all by himself. And he started in a fucking garage with the shitty little table, you know? Selling books, dude. And I've seen this video of him when, like, someone was, like, recording him. They're like, oh, who are you? And he's like, oh, I'm Jeff Bezos. And he laughed a little bit. And this was, like, way before Amazon was Amazon. And then they're like, oh, what do you do? And he's like, I'm the CEO of Amazon.com. And then the guy's like, oh, I've never heard of that. Like, what company? Like, what do you do with your company? And he says, well, we sell and resell new and used books. Like, and he just laughed about it. And then the interviewer said, do you think that that's a good idea? And then he said, I guess we'll find out. And guess what? We fucking found out. We found out. Everything you see on here was made possible because of Amazon. And not because anybody bought it, because I ordered all this shit from Amazon. And it got here in 2 days. Yeah, man.
Yeah, supposedly people are like, back to donating and all that. Apparently people are upset because they were like scaling how much Jeff Bezos donated to how much he makes. They're like,
oh, and it's like equivalent to us wasting 5 cents.
Yeah, like us donating like $10, but it's like, all right, who's donating $10?
Yeah,
like,
but guess what? Like when you pass by that homeless dude outside of Starbucks and you give him $1 because $1 is equivalent to you, like the equivalence of your $1 is equated to Bezos is like 100 million. Like, how come you feel good about yourself when you give a fucking homeless dude $1, but you're not allowing Bezos to feel good about himself for donating 100 million, like probably multiple times a year, you know? Fucking hypocrites. That's gonna be it for this episode.
I don't know. I feel like it's a cutthroat world. We would all do the same thing.
Yeah, man.
I mean, even just to not pay our own taxes.
Yeah.
I mean, how much could we do with that?
People fucking hate taxes, dude. People literally hate
people
taxes.
Doing better than them.
Yeah,
successful.
That's what it is. It's right there, dude. Like people, what did I read about? It's like a tweet by Mark Cuban. You know Mark Cuban? He's one of the sharks on Shark Tank, and he owns like I think the Dallas Mavericks. I could be wrong. I fucking hate sports, but I think it's the Dallas Mavericks. It might not even be Mavericks. Are the Mavericks from fucking Dallas?
I'm not sure.
It's a basketball team. I don't know. I probably sound stupid. Anyways, he put out a tweet. I think it was him. It probably wasn't him. It was just some dude with like a black and white photo on Twitter. But he said that like a successful person will never be jealous of somebody trying to obtain success. And like that's it right there, dude. Like how the only people that are ever going to be jealous of you are people that are not successful and trying to keep you from being successful, you know? And success is also measured in like multiple different ways, you know, like success to you could be like becoming a billionaire, and success to somebody else could be like starting a big community organization, you know? It doesn't matter like what your definition of success is. It's just like if you're trying to be successful or trying to do something, you know, then like the only people that are going to put you down are people that are either jealous or envious of those types of people. And I read something on that subreddit thread too about envy, and it said something about like people that are criticizing like people for doing all these things, like that never comes from a place of like honest care for the like, let's take for example like what was it, Australia that was on fire, right? And everyone was like, oh well, like Notre Dame caught on fire and blah 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 jumped up and donated this much, and
everyone just jumped up and then basically paying to rebuild it.
Did you see that meme about like they said like, oh, we're working on building like a exact replica of Notre Dame in the middle of Australia so that we can get a lot of money? So like all these people like jump up at it, and it's like, okay, well, like where are all those billionaires now? And it's like they're in their fucking house like sitting on their money. Like who cares, you know? And not like, okay, like I care about Australia just as much as the next dude, but like sharing the fucking picture of Australia on fire on Instagram is not helping put out the fire. I can tell you that much. And how many people are sharing the picture and then just like turning their shit off and then going back to binge watching Netflix and being like, oh, I did my good deed for the day. Suck my ass. You didn't do shit, dude. Like,
there's a comedian that made a good point about this too.
What did he say?
Basically said when tragedy hits, there's those people that just say thoughts and prayers.
Oh yeah.
Thoughts and prayers. And then he's like, you know what that accounts for? Nothing. That's less than nothing. You're not doing anything to help the situation.
Yeah. Dude, I remember I put a post about like the Australia thing, and I said something along the lines that like, you know, like just stop fucking around, like donate $1. Like if $1 is all you got, donate $1. And then there was like this person that I followed in high school that I knew, or I followed from high school that I knew from high school. And they posted something that was like low key, like right about me, but like I knew it was about me, but like they didn't tag me in it. Yeah, like hella indirect. And it just said like, I just saw a post about like how sharing is like doing nothing for the cause and blah, blah, blah. And I'll have you know that spreading word is like the number one thing that people can do to help the cause. And I was like, dude, spreading the word helps when nobody knows.
Yeah.
Everybody fucking knows already. Like, everybody knows that it was on fire. Yeah. It's on the news. You're going to tell me people don't know? Like, people already know.
Sorry, I live under a rock.
Yeah, like,
send me a flyer.
if you're on the internet, you know that, or you knew that it was on fire. And, like, it's already, like, I don't know if it's put out already, but I know that the weather hella changed and there's, like floods
and
now.
Hailing.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's like, dude, like, if you're going to do something, like, pull out $1 and donate, like, make an actual change, you know, like, whether it's, you know, you're donating 5 cents or $1, like, they don't ask for a minimum amount. Like, anything's going to help, and everybody donates a penny, and they'll have a lot of money, you know, to help out the cause. But these, like, rich people shouldn't be held accountable as to why they're going to fix it, you know? And I was thinking about something the other day that I heard about, that it's like selfish to not want to be rich because of the amount of help that you can do to your community or the things that you care about. And the real selfishness comes from you settling down and becoming comfortable in your positions because you put yourself in a position where you are no longer able to help as much as you potentially would be able to. And that's just like a good thought that I thought instantly. I was like, hell yeah, like that's like, I feel like that's true, you know? There's people out there that wish to change the world without legs, without arms, like people that are mentally incapable of thinking, you know, that possibly if they were capable of it, like they would change the world. They would start another business, get rich, and, you know, end a bunch of the stuff that goes on in the world. But then there's people that are like, oh, I'm just going to work at Amazon forever. And it might be a good job, but it's not going to be enough to be helping out the stuff you believe in. Right? So, I don't know. I think that's just where I'm at with my thoughts about that.
I remember hearing that people were talking how it's dangerous to rely on, like, private parties to pretty much fix the problems.
Yeah, it's hella dangerous,
like,
dude.
I don't know, like, if they get the technology to fix the water, and then we rely so much on that technology, what if they just started, I don't know, I guess charging for it?
Well, I mean, they charge us for water now. They charge you for water. They charge you for electricity. They charge you for gas. I can guarantee you if... and you know what's worse? It's illegal to fucking do all of those things on your own. Maybe not all of them, but it's illegal to catch water.
It is?
Yeah. Maybe.
Like rainwater?
Yeah.
Huh.
Maybe it's not anymore, but, like, I remember it was, like, a big deal about, like, you could get fined for catching rainwater because they don't want you to catch rainwater because you can drink it and you can use it, and they want to monopolize, like, your essential, like, needs, you know? And it's like, if somebody's capable of building electricity from whatever they can, or power, right? I don't know if that's legal, but I can guarantee you there's going to be a problem once you start putting out YouTube videos on how to do it yourself.
So
people
like, living off the grid are basically living felonies.
Well, I don't think so, because I think that most of them do solar, right? That's the only way I could think of. Unless they're doing, like, old school, like, fire, wood burning stuff.
I think it depends
where you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But, yeah, man. Amazon is not a bad place to work. I would suggest working at Amazon to anybody that honestly just, like, had the grit to fucking move their way up there.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. I mean, it's hard, but if you want
you know
it,
what? The people complaining to Amazon, go try to work somewhere else. Like, I remember I worked at short story. I used to work third shift, knock shift, whatever you want to call it, after Amazon, and it was all heavy. It was like 50 pounds, everything that I picked up, and it was in the cold, and it was like 12 hours, back-breaking work.
Yeah.
And that really put into skill. I was like, man.
Yeah, dude, like, you won't know how good Amazon is until you leave.
Until you work a real job.
Yeah. And that's what I tell everybody. I was like, dude, I've never experienced a job like Amazon where it's just so lenient on everything
Mm-hmm.
that you do. Like, they do not care about whatever it is, and the only thing they care about is that their packages are getting out on time.
Yep.
And somehow they manage to always get them out on time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're handing you fucking gift cards all the time.
The raffles.
Yeah, dude, they throw
food
little,
trucks.
what do they call it? The round tables for everyone's birthday.
Oh yeah.
Like, every month they have, like, everyone, like, let's say January, they're like, all right, everyone in the building whose birthday's in January, we're gonna, for lunch, they're gonna, or not for lunch, right? It's during,
it's just
during
like,
work
yeah,
time.
like a break during work
Yeah,
time.
so during, like, a work time, they're like, we're gonna take you out, pull you from your work for 15, 20 minutes, and then you get to sit in the conference room. They bring you, like, a little slice of cake or a cupcake.
Yep.
And then the manager's there along with, like, some of the higher up managers. And you get to, like, address any concerns that you have to them. Like, it's not one-on-one, but it's, like, a lot easier than...
Yeah, but it's like, it's like a small group.
Yeah. It's easier than trying to, like, tell them, like, 1,000 people at a
all
time.
hands.
Yeah.
When the whole building is
The
in
whole
a
building's
break room,
meeting. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, dude, I'm in the same boat with you because I had warehouse jobs before Amazon, just like everybody else. Like, I'm assuming that a lot of people have started off working at warehouses or agencies, and I've been to jobs where it's like, okay, show up here on Tuesday, and then show up to this warehouse on Wednesday, and then go to this one on Thursday, and then back to this one on Tuesday, because, like, that's the only days they need you.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gone to jobs where I show up, like, bust my ass, so at the end of the shift, they can be like, oh, we don't need you tomorrow, like, don't come in. You know? And I'm like, damn, well, like, I thought I was at least going to get a paycheck for a week at this place, but nah, dude, cut me a check for, like, $120 after tax for one day. And that's where, like, you really start realizing your worth, you know, to like, a lot of the people. And, I mean, they don't care, dude. Like, it's their job, you know? And it's not their fault either. Because if you're an able-bodied citizen of the United States, like, you're definitely capable of doing a lot greater things than working at a warehouse. If you're there, that's your fault, man. Like, I know a lot of jobs that I can tell you off the back of my head that are going to get you really close to the 80s, 90s, six-figure jobs, you know?
Yeah.
No degrees, no nothing, just hard work. But I think that's all. I'm done ranting about Amazon and working.
I don't know, just my experience from working at Amazon, hands down easiest. I would pick orders, I would count things in shelves, drive the trailers around. It was all easy. Management was easy to talk to. If you didn't want to come in, don't come in.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Yeah, honestly, I would go back if they paid more. But,
yeah,
you know, it's my choice. Well, I guess it was our choice to leave just because the money wasn't there.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
But, dude, if we're going to talk about, like I was saying, if you're an able-bodied citizen of the United States, and I only say citizen because I know a lot of the people that are non-citizens do have a hard time trying to find better jobs, and that's not their fault. You know, they came for better opportunity, and that's a whole different subject that we're not going to get into on this episode. But if you're an able-bodied citizen in the United States and you're making minimum wage, I hope that you're working part-time and in school working for something greater, or not in school, just working towards something greater in general. But definitely, like, if you're there and not going to be obtaining something different that's going to be better for you and possibly provide more for your family or just for yourself in general, it's no one's fault but your own.
Yep.
Right? Like, you can just work more if you are a minimum wage job. So many people have created this idea that 40 hours a week is like the maximum amount of hours that we should work. I mean, we're pulling in 50, 55.
Yeah, I mean, we were about to make the jump to work like
60
70
to 70, yeah.
70 hours.
With Mike. Shout out to Mike. He's in Yosemite right now living it up. Yeah, and I mean, he was working 60, 70 hours, still is working 60, 70 hours, you know? And that was a decision that he made on his own. And, hey, man, I mean, he gets paid for it. Like, you know, he makes good money, and he's in a good place, and he's happy where he's at. That's all that matters. But he's in that position where it's like, you know, has kids, needs to provide, doesn't have, I think he started college, but I don't think he finished. So no education further than high school, and no experience as far as like, oh, I was like a plumber for 2 years, so I could do this, or I was a construction worker for 2 years, so I could do that. It's just straight out of Amazon. You know, he did the same thing as us, but went to a tougher job than we did, and now he's in a great place, dude. And that's good for him, you know. And we're in a way better place than we were at Amazon financially. Definitely was an easier job back there, but like people want to talk about hard work and like what it takes to work hard, bro. Like fuck, dude. We're out there and like doing physical labor in 120 degrees.
Mud.
Yeah. You got mud, your truck's getting stuck. Like we're delivering to places that trucks should not be delivering to. And you're like, the worst thing that's going to happen to you is like you're going to get stuck. But the only reason why it's so bad is because you get stuck around 2 o'clock. You're not clocking out till 8 or 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And you clocked in at 6 in the morning. You know?
Happened to me a couple times.
Yeah. And it's just because the mechanics got to go out, try to get you out. And they're going to do everything possible before they absolutely got to pay for a tow truck. And then when they do, then by the time you get out, it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Like I know you clocked out hella late a couple times.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's what it takes to work hard. You know, at the end of the day, you got that check, a lot bigger of a check than you would have working 40, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I would say definitely like if you're working minimum wage and you want something better, like the only thing that's stopping you is yourself.
Yeah.
You know, hop on one of the little job searching platforms and look for different jobs, type in the salary that you wish that you had. And
yeah, but I think that's a problem. Everyone wants to get paid more for what they're doing already.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
no one
wants to change or put in more work.
Right. No one wants to work harder.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to. Yeah, you're right. They're like, oh, I wish I could keep working here at Walmart or McDonald's but make 20 an hour. Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think that's the way that it works. But if you did want to get a better job, then you go down to union halls, you go take your truck driver's license test, and you work your ass off to get one or both of those. Or you join a fire academy, you join a police academy. All these jobs require zero education. And all of those jobs are going to eventually be able to get you into that $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year mark.
Just putting in the work.
Yeah, that's all it is.
At first, it's always going to be hard.
Yeah.
Gotta power through.
Like, dude, our job where we work now, like, I almost quit fucking 5-6 times in the first 3 months just because it was so hard. Like, I'd wake up, like, my back aching, like, it's hurting. Like, as soon as I step on the ground, it feels like I stubbed, like, the bottom of my feet with, like, pins. Like, and I still woke up, put my boots on every day and got out there. And, I mean, now it's a lot easier than it was before, but even now there's still better paying jobs out there, and we both know that.
I mean, even in the same position.
Yeah,
I mean,
in the same position.
It's just different routes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we're not, I don't know. Personally, I'm not mad at that other people make more.
No,
I
definitely
think it's
not.
kind of a good feeling, like, you know, I'm making this much. I'm the bottom of the ladder. Like, I only go from
exactly.
here.
And if we're already making decent money, like, I mean, we're not in the lower class. We're definitely, like, in middle class, like, bracket. There's, you know, like, definitely room for growth there. And it shows because, I mean, it's like I was telling you, like, you know, I walked into all these guys talking about how much they made on their W-2s, and it's like, 100 this, 100 that, like, blah, blah, blah.
Sorry, you didn't make at least $100 grand to do this conversation.
And I was just like, oh, I'm going to just sneak on out of here before they ask me, because I'm not anywhere near that. But, yeah, dude, like, it's good competition. It creates a good competition environment, and because a lot of the guys there are commission based, so, you know, it creates that competition between them to like try to sell more of this or sell more of that. And I think that's just like kind of the good thing about our job is that it combines that sales aspect with truck driving, which is like what I like to do, because a lot of truck driving jobs are just gonna do the hourly thing. But yeah, if you wanna work more, you wanna work harder, or you think you're out of options, you think that you're not gonna be able to obtain more money or whatever it is, like, that's definitely possible as long as you got arms and legs and your mind is in the right place. You can go and get it.
I don't think increasing minimum wage is the answer.
No. I think increasing it to a certain point is not bad,
Mm-hmm.
but it only like it's just a never-ending rat race because like you increase minimum wage and the economy just goes up. You increase minimum
Yeah, but
wage
it
and
could
the
be
economy
just
goes
people. There's a difference between like surviving and being comfortable.
up. Right.
So I think that's where people need to kind of look at themselves and see what they need and what's required, I guess.
To get into that position where they want to be.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like if you're surviving, which like I was surviving when I worked at Amazon,
Mhm.
right? And I had bills to pay and I was living paycheck to paycheck, just like I'm assuming a large percentage of America does. And the opportunity came up to truck drive, so I jumped on it because immediately I was like, well, how much do these guys get paid? And it was definitely a lot more than I was making there, so I was like, all right, let's do it. Got my license and now I'm here, And it's all about education too, like, because if no one's telling you that these opportunities are out there, then you're probably going to be in this like dark state where you're like, oh, I'm just stuck here forever. And you're definitely not. There's options out there.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I want to talk about. This is going to be kind of late because this is episode 3, so this is going to be a week ago. And this is like a topic that I wanted to jump into like last week, but I just kind of spaced it. And we've been really like behind, like definitely our first episode, we should have jumped into coronavirus just because it was so fresh. But Valentine's Day was yesterday for us because we're recording on Saturday the 14th. But this episode won't be out until the 23rd, I think. If you're in a relationship, so this is just going to be a question. It's going to be a difficult question.
That was going to be a statement.
No.
All right, go ahead.
If you're in a relationship, solidified relationship, I'm not talking about you just asked a girl out like 2 weeks ago. You're in a solid relationship. Are you held accountable to ask your significant other to be your Valentine?
I feel like you're obligated regardless what they say.
But are you obligated because they want you to ask? Are you like... Because like, dude, I'm just like, okay, like we're practically married. Who the hell do you think is going to be my Valentine besides you? Like if I'm buying flowers, like where do you think they're going? And I get the whole thing about like, oh, well, it's just sweet to ask. Like, and it's like, okay, like I understand that, but like, like I'm going to ask regardless.
Conspiracy thread. Valentine's isn't real.
Yeah.
It's just made to sell candy and chocolates and all this good stuff.
Do you buy Maria flowers because she likes flowers? Like because she likes receiving flowers? Or is it because you want to? Like because you want to buy?
A little bit of both. Because I know she likes them. Makes her happy. Keeps them on her desk.
Cause, but I don't like buying flowers. And I don't like buying flowers because to me they're a waste of money. Because they die. Do you not see it that way?
I guess I can see that.
Yeah.
Get her a little plant then. Little cactus.
Yeah. Okay. So that's my other thing. Like I'd rather buy her like a little succulent because it's going to stay in our house or whatever. Even though we had a fucking succulent and somehow we managed to kill it. We still managed to kill a succulent for everybody out there. But yeah, like and it's not even like a cheap cop out to be like, oh, it's just because you don't want to buy her anything. Like I'd rather take her to dinner. I'd rather buy her like something that she's been wanting than to buy flowers. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I feel like flowers are like more of a show-offy thing. Because it's like, oh, like, send her flowers so that she could see them. And then all the coworkers are like, oh my God, he got you flowers. Like, you got a good person on you or like whatever. And it's like, shut up. You don't know me. Wait till she gets home. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it is what it is. I went to Target yesterday to buy flowers. All of them were dead. All the flowers are dead, dude.
We went to Walmart the day before Valentine's.
I wasn't going to go to Walmart. They're going to put that shit in a box and tell me to go to aisle 13 so I could get them.
But yeah, the shelves were ravaged.
Yeah,
it looked like
they were gone, huh?
It looked like wolves ate it like a carcass.
Yeah, dude. Mind you, I clocked out yesterday at 6:20, I think. And then when I got to Target like at 7 something, like they were all
that's the
gone.
last minute.
Yeah, I found one set of really nice flowers, and it's the one that I got, but it didn't have any roses. And I was like, well, I'd rather get her this nice set of like it had like a lot of different colorful flowers, versus like getting a dozen roses that were like missing like petals and stuff. Like I was like, I'm just gonna buy this one because it was nicer. But
I thought you were gonna say someone fought you for him.
no, nah. Yeah, but that's it. That's gonna be episode 3, guys. Except that we gotta do the question of the week, which we still haven't thought about a title for the segment. I guess for right now, it's just gonna be question of the week.
Yeah. You want to pick it out?
Yeah. We still need to buy a little box for this thing. It's a lucky question right here.
So
It's gonna be a long one. Just because I don't struggle for food or shelter doesn't mean that my life is not hard. I think this is more of a statement. I think this is one of the unpopular opinion ones.
Okay.
So with it being open to interpretation, I'm assuming that this is like you're a piece of shit if you don't give like a homeless dude $1 kind of thing. Is that what you're getting or no?
I kind of feel like that.
Yeah, like just because I don't struggle for food or shelter doesn't mean that my life's not hard.
Yeah.
I get that. Do you
Yeah,
agree or
I
disagree?
could agree with that.
You agree with this statement?
Your life could be hard in other aspects.
Yeah. And on top of that, I know like all homeless people like shouldn't be homeless and like all of them are hungry or whatever, but some homeless people are working for their money.
Yeah.
And some of them are just asking for it. So I'm just saying, I know where my money is going to go to, except when I'm at work, cuz then I give them water. Like when I see them, or like sometimes I have yogurt like in my bag and I'm like, hey, you want this yogurt? And then I get to watch them eat it, like, because the light's red, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't give them a spoon. You got anything else before we close the show out?
No, just keep working hard, everyone.
Yeah, man, just keep working hard. And Amazon's a great place to work if you guys want to work there.
I say it's easy work.
It's
if you
easy
lose
work.
your job, go to Amazon.
Hey, but they don't pay minimum wage though. What's minimum wage?
I think it's like, it's less than what they pay at Amazon. It's like 15. They pay 15 at Amazon right now.
But minimum is not 15. It's
No.
like 10, right?
10, 12, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like it sounds weird not knowing what the minimum wage was. I just haven't like been paid minimum wage in a long time. I just didn't want to sound like conceited or anything, but I genuinely didn't know. I think it's like 10 and a quarter. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that's already a $5 raise on top of minimum wage. Like $15. Like a lot of people would do a lot for $15, you know? And so I mean, it was good money. It's enough money.
I feel like they sacrificed too much though.
You think so?
Yeah, they got rid of some benefits. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but
What did they get rid of?
they got rid of the VCP, the monthly bonus.
Oh, but to pay more though.
Yeah,
because they get raises.
Got rid of stock too, but you don't get a raise until like I think
every year.
I think 2 years.
Oh, 2 years.
Yeah, you're stuck at 15 for like over a year, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, hypothetically speaking, like let's say that they weren't giving you stock and they weren't giving you monthly bonuses. They weren't giving you anything. You're already like $5 ahead an hour of like a lot of people in the country if you work for Amazon, you know? So that's already like a big bonus. And the benefits that they do have, like the healthcare and stuff like that, like they pay a lot of that, a good chunk of that amount that you'd pay for healthcare, like optometrists and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that a lot of people used to like love getting the stocks and stuff, but like a lot of people wouldn't even make it long enough to cash them in.
That's what everyone's trying to do.
Because it's 2 years, right? They give you stock and you got to wait 2 years to cash it out. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I would suggest Amazon to anybody. But if you want to just like jump from like $10 an hour to like 20, 30, just get your truck driver's license. It's going to be a lot better.
Make 6 digits.
Yeah, get in that 6-figure club. We're coming for you, Mike. Anyways, that's going to be the end of the show. You good?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.